愛をください。Welcome to Morning Musume Monday. My name is Jeremy.
And I'm Jake.
And today we're going to be reviewing Morning Musume's single,
Mr. Moonlight.
Ai no Big Bando. This is the first single featuring the 5th generation that includes Nigaki Risa, Kono Asami, Ogawa Makoto, and Takashi Ai. I first want to talk about the boot camp episode because I showed that to Jacob first because I wanted him to get to know the faces. So Jacob talked to me about that.
They cried.
In the boot camp video, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's Love Auditions, Love 21 auditions. Check that out if you haven't seen it. It features all 9 girls that were accepted to be a part of the 5th generation, and only 4 of them made it out.
Alright, so the boot camp was really emotional for me. Jeremy was like, we have to watch this and it's long, and I was like, okay, I guess. And I knew Nigaki got in, but I didn't really know who else did. I kind of had my feelings because of names I've heard or because of this, that, whatever. But it was really emotional watching these poor little girls because, I mean, these are like 12-year-old girls. And they were trying so hard and they wanted so bad to be in Morning Musume. And I wanted them all to be in it, even the ones who kind of sucked. One of the things that struck me the most about this was just that it really struck me how mature these girls were. For a bunch of, 12 and 13-year-olds, I mean, one was 13, one was 14, a couple were 14, but still, like, median age was about 13, and how mature they all were. Like, that just really struck me. Like, if you put a bunch of 12-year-old American girls out, in a boot camp like that, they would not be acting that mature. They would not carry themselves that well. So that really impressed me about the girls.
Now, let's talk about the single. I think that the dynamics of the boot camp played into the dynamics of Mr. Moonlight. As seen, Nigaki was the very first girl who Sunku picked to go to the boot camp. I think that played out in the fact that she was the only 5th generation member who got a solo in Mr. Moonlight. Secondly, Ogawa was hugely favored in the boot camp, as seen not only in the dance segment, but also with her singing, and I think that also played out into the fact that she was the most featured member of the 5th generation of Mr. Moonlight. She was Yossi's lover, she was the member who was the only one that had her own spotlights. Now, what I mean by this is during the scenes where they were everybody on a cloud, she was the only one that was by herself. Secondly, when all the girls were in the spotlights of having their trios while they were singing with the microphone, she was also the only one that was featured by herself.
I think the cool thing about the girls that ended up making it into Morning Musume, I think I get the feeling that Nigaki was kind of like the surprise element because the boot camp really didn't put a lot of emphasis on her in any way, so it was kind of like an out of left field that, and Nigaki Risa, and everyone was like, who? What? And I thought that was really cool, and I thought it was even cooler that she got the solo, because I think even though Takahashi Ai has a very pretty voice, I think Nigaki, hands down, of the 4 who made it in, has the strongest voice. And for the youngest of the 4 to get the solo, when she had the strongest voice. This is not necessarily the most refined or prettiest voice, but she has the strongest voice. I think her voice is very pretty. And anyways, I thought that was really cool. And Ogawa, I thought, got a lot of emphasis because she's also very striking in her looks, in a different way than Nigaki is, because I think Nigaki also has a very striking face. But I think Ogawa has something very unique about her face and about her look. She's a very specific kind of pretty. So I think it was a smart choice to have her be the sort of the love interest for Yossi. I would like to talk about the fact that I think this has to be my favorite song so far, which is saying something because I loved the piece. But this one is right on par for me, partly because it's so fun. I really love the energy of this one, and oh my gosh, I love the fact that it's like a big band. That is so fun, and you can tell the girls are having fun with it. Musically, I felt like this was probably one of the most creative songs that Morning Musume has come out with thus far. Because it's kind of out of nowhere with the big band elements, with the swing beat and all that. So I think that it was very interesting. And I think you kind of got a glimpse of it with the piece, with them sampling the for it, with that, them sampling something outside of the electronic pop that they normally go to.
I think it's also interesting that this is Yossi's single, I guess, because the piece was really Rika's single, and I Wish was really Ibon's single, and now Yossi has her own single. Now that was cool.
I love that Yossi got a lot of.
I think this is
Solo in
the
this.
one single that has the most solos from a single member.
It's got a lot of solos, period. I mean, it's basically the whole song is Abe, Yossi, and Goto, with the rest of the girls doing the Mr. Moonlight, Mr. Moonlight. And in that regard, it was a very big band vocal song where you have like the male singer doing kind of the swing thing, and then you have like, you know, the girls in the back who lean into the mic for the ooh, 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 ooh. So in that regard, I thought it was very cleverly structured as well. Look at those three guys over there.
We also watched the long version that's featured on the album. What did you think of the long version?
It was so cute.
I like the intro to it, kind of like this whole scene of people going to a big party that was better than last year, and then these three brothers that come in and are kind of seducing all the women, and then Ogawa was like, ooh, I think that guy's looking at me. He's talking to Rika, of all people. Oh, hey, baby. And
Okay, baby, you're so young.
Ogawa's just like, oh, okay. Oh, that's awkward.
There was a couple moments in the long version that I just laughed out loud. The, oi, that's pasta. just there was some very, very fantastic deadpan deliveries.
You know who I noticed the least was Takahashi. She really blended in the background for me. It was almost like she wasn't even there.
Oh yeah!
I barely noticed her, and it's taken me a few times to go through and watch it and really find her and pinpoint her even in the dance shots, because she really is a very strong character in her personality. I noticed Kono more than her, and Kono was the weakest of all the fifth generation.
One
It was
of
so
these
sad.
girls got fails on everything, and
She was actually kind of horrible,
And
but
she
I'm gonna
kinda
put her
sucked.
in because she wants to be in the group. So here you go, Kono.
Kono, you suck.
And she's kind of like, okay.
I'm happy to be here.
So let's talk about the lyrics. I thought that the lyrics matched perfectly with the music video, and I think this is the very first Morning Musume video so far that the lyrics match perfectly, because we saw from the very beginning in Morning Coffee, they're singing about, ooh, I'm embarrassed, and I'm shy, and I'm going to coffee, but then they're like on street corners, and they're like,
I'm so embarrassed to
and
be
then Summer
happy
Night
morning
Town
coffee.
is like, essentially a breakup song.
Smile, smile,
And then
smile.
like doing basically like street walking. And then Furusato was similar. Furusato was probably the closest to having the lyrics and the music video match. But I think Mr. Moonlight was perfection from lyrics to music video. Because at the very beginning they talked about how Mr. Moonlight, whoever this person is a saucy young man, and how he's very seductive and kind of like, ooh baby, ooh baby. And then there's the
Baby,
whole
oh, baby.
breakdown with Ogawa where he's like, oh, you're sad? You're in love. That's love sickness. I knew ever since you saw me you were in love, so let's go off and we'll fly off together. And then they literally fly away.
I mean, there were a couple times, as always, I was a little thrown, like, you know, hamburgers, we'll make them together. Christmases, we'll spend them together. That was cute, but like, hamburgers, we'll make them together. Why hamburgers?
Because it was like an American song.
I was
so
gonna say, to kind of harken to the Americanized thing they were going for. So that does make sense, but still. Hamburgers? I don't know. So, first of all, we have a shout out to do.
In the previous video, we asked, what did Rika's lover have for lunch? And it was answered that Rika's lover had a rice ball, which is symbolic for the simplicity and purity of their relationship. And we just thought that was a really cute, creative answer. So for today's question of the day, we want to ask you, who would you date of the brothers? Goto, Abe, or Yossi? Leave
Yossi.
any answers below. What do you think of this single? And we will talk to you guys next week. Peace out. Itadakimasu!